The mountain burned with fire. The heavens trembled. And the voice of Hashim rolled across the wilderness like thunder upon the sea. The Torah says, and Mount Sinai was entirely in smoke because Hashem had descended upon it in fire. Imagine it, crew. Smoke rising to the heavens. The earth trembling beneath her feet. The sound of the shofar growing louder and louder. And every soul standing exposed before the living voice of Hashem. But, hear me well, the fire upon Sinai did not die upon the mountain. It still burns today. Before a sailor enters dangerous waters, he steadies the vessel. Before a soul approaches revelation, it must grow still. So let every wandering thought be silenced. Let every burden rest for a moment. And let every soul aboard this voyage remember the covenant of Hashem. Please join me in reciting the prayer of our people. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kavod, Malhuto, Leolam Vayeh. The words of the Shema have echoed through deserts, through exile, through persecution, through storm and flame. Empires have risen and vanished like ships swallowed by the sea. Yet those words still endure. Because covenant survives what kingdoms cannot. And that, crew, is why we gather once more around the lantern light, to seek the treasures hidden within the Torah. Because there be treasures in the Torah.
From names once hidden, roots we reclaim. Of scattered sparks, we learn our name. Through longest night, the call remains the same. Echo truth, no time restrained. Treasures in the Torah, long proclaimed. Ancient truth becomes eternal flame. By the Torah's light, we chart our way through darkest night to break of day. Across the seas where exiles roam, the written word becomes our home. What once was hidden now is shown, guiding us where truth has grown. From generations, voice and flame, we rise to walk the path again. Avast me hearties, welcome to Treasures in the Torah. Welcome aboard.
As the lantern guides a vessel through darkness, so too does Torah guide the soul through the storms of this world. So, crew, welcome aboard once more. Welcome aboard, crew, to another voyage in Treasures of the Torah. Here aboard this vessel we search not for gold buried beneath the sand, but for the wisdom hidden within the holy words of Hashem. For there be treasures greater than silver, greater than jewels, greater than the riches sought by kings and empires, treasures that survive the storm, treasures that survive exile, treasures that even survive the grave itself. And on this Shavuot voyage, we sail toward Sinai, toward the mountain wrapped with smoke and holy fire, toward the day heaven touched the earth, the day a trembling people stood before the living voice of Hashem, the day the fire descended upon the mountain, and through the smoke they heard his voice. And though the smoke faded long ago, the fire did not vanish. It still burns. And to understand that fire, we must return to the mountain itself. Listen well to the words of the Torah. And Mount Sinai was entirely in smoke because Hashem had descended upon it in the fire. This was no performance, no illusion, no spectacle designed merely to entertain. This was revelation. The Creator speaking into his creation. Fire on the mountain. Smoke rising towards heaven. And Israel standing at the boundary between fear and covenant. And later, Moses later reminded the people of what they witnessed. Face to face, Hashem spoke to you at the mountain amid the fire. Not from comfort, not from luxury, from the fire. Because revelation changes a man forever. And as the mountain trembled, another sound filled the wilderness. The Torah tells us that Hashem descended upon Sinai. The sound of the shofar grew louder and louder. Not softer, but louder. The mountain trembled. The fire rose. And the sound of the shofar rolled across the wilderness. Why? Because revelation is not merely meant to comfort a man. Revelation awakes him. This horn once belonged to a living creature, and from something once living came a cry that shook the mountain itself. And if you're to examine this for a moment, the shofar teaches us lessons about our calling that Hashem has placed upon us. Because just as how the shofar is bent, it is a reminder how we are to bend our life and our will to the desire and the calling of Hashem in our life. Notice how this is polished. This is not in the original state that this was when this was on the animal. This has been polished. This has been hollowed out and made worthy to be a vessel to carry his voice. Such is with the soul of a man. When empty of breath, it is silent. But when filled with the breath of Hashem, it awakens the entire world. But the mystery of Sinai grows even deeper. The Torah says something astonishing. It does not merely say that the people heard the voices. It says they saw them. And all the people saw the voices. Exodus 20:15. Now I need to pause a minute and tell you, when I say Exodus 20:15, I mean from the Jewish numbering. There's two different numberings. There's a Christian numbering and a Jewish numbering. We're looking at the Jewish numbering. If you look at Exodus 20:15 in your Christian Bible, you'll get something completely different. 20:15 in the Jewish numbering. And all the people saw the voices. And the sages asked, how can voices be seen? The Midrash teaches that the holy words burst forth like tongues of flame. Exodus Rabbah 5:9. Fire above the mountain. Fire within the words. Fire resting upon the people. Fire rising. The sages also taught that the voice divided into 70 tongues, so that all the world might witness the power of the revelation. This is in Talmud Shabbat 88b. And the sages preserved yet another fascinating mystery. They described the Torah itself as black fire upon white fire. Jerusalem Talmud, Shekalim 6:1. Think on that, crew. Holy words written in the flame itself. The fire hidden within the letters. The fire hidden within the covenant. The fire hidden within the soul. And the mystics of Israel carry that understanding even deeper. The Zohar teaches that every word of Torah contains hidden fire. Zohar 1184a. And that the soul clings to Hashem the way flame clings to the wick. Zohar 111 288a. Without the wick, the flame dies. Without Torah, the soul forget what light looks like. And King Solomon himself, King Shlomo, gave his voice to this mystery. The soul of a man is the lamp of Hashem. The soul of a man is the lamp of Hashem. Proverbs 20:27. Every soul was created to carry holy fire. And the sages taught that something even more astonishing. The Talmud teaches that every Jewish soul stood at Sinai. Talmud Shabbat 146a. not only those present in the wilderness, but every generation, every exile, every wandering child of Israel yet unborn, all stood before the mountain. This is why the fire still burns, because the covenant did not belong to one generation alone. And through the generations, the sages guarded the flame. Ramban taught that the Mishkan became a continuation of Sinai itself. Ramban in Exodus 25:1. The mountain did not vanish from Israel. The divine presence traveled with them through wilderness, through exile, through suffering, through kingdoms that rose and vanished like mist upon the sea. The fire traveled with the people. And perhaps that brings us to the very question that every soul must eventually answer. Has the fire survived within us? The modern world is full of noise, yet starving for revelation. Men scroll endlessly through distractions, but rarely stand still enough to hear anything holy. Most people today do not truly seek revelation. They seek inspiration. But inspiration merely makes a man feel something. Revelation demands that a man become something. Sinai was not entertainment. It was transformation. The world teaches men to seek comfort above all things. But the soul was not sent into this world merely to escape struggle. The soul descended to reveal light within darkness. That is why fire matters. Not because it dazzles the eyes, but because it survives the storm. A man who remains faithful while wounded, kind while exhausted, holy while surrounded by corruption, that man carries the fire of Sinai within him. No sailor expects a lantern to remain lit if no man trims the wick. And yet, countless souls neglect the flame within themselves. They desire blessing without covenant, identity without holiness, comfort without transformation. But holiness is not casual. The same fire that gives warmth also exposes. The same fire that illuminates also purifies. And Sinai was terrifyingly precise. And the reason why Sinai was terrifying was precisely because revelation strips away illusion. The soul of the man is a lamp of Hashim. Proverbs 20:27. Every soul was meant to carry fire. And speaking of flames guarding through the darkness, let me tell you a tale from the sea. One storm-torn night, a young sailor descended below deck and found the captain guarding a tiny lantern. It was a small lantern, but the captain was guarding it. While the whole ship groaned beneath monstrous waves, the sailor cried, Captain, why protect one tiny flame while the whole sea rages against us? And the old captain answered, because if this light dies, eventually the crew forgets what light looks like. Crew, empires have sunk beneath the waves. Kingdoms have vanished into dust. Yet the fire from Sinai still burns aboard the vessels of Israel. Some men preserve the fire through scholarship, some through courage, and some through longing. Rabbi Yehuda Halevi, and among those souls was Rabbi Yehuda Halevi, who was a poet, a scholar, a seeker of Zion, and he understood that the covenant was not cold law upon stone, but living fire within a soul. He wrote, "My heart is in the east, though I dwell in the uttermost west." Rabbi Yehuda Halevi, Libi Bamitzrak. Though scattered through exile, his soul still burned towards Jerusalem. The fire still called to him. And through his words, it still calls us. And so long as Torah is remembered, the fire will never truly die. The mountain no longer trembles before our eyes. The smoke no longer rises above Sinai. But every time Torah is studied, every time kindness overcomes cruelty, every time a weary soul clings to the covenant in a darkened world, the fire burns again. Let the fire burn inside you. Don't stomp it out. And on this Shavuot, on the commemoration of Hashim giving us the Torah, bear in mind that there is far more going on than just the giving of the Torah. However, that would have been enough. But it is a reminder and a calling to live as a carrier and keeper of the flame. And may the Holy One, blessed be He, keep that fire alive within every soul upon this voyage. Yivarechecha Adonai, v'yisombrecha, Ya'er Adonai, panav alecha v'yihunecha, Yasi Adonai, panav alecha, v'yesem lecha shalom. May Hashem bless you and keep you. May Hashem shine His face upon you, be gracious unto you. May Hashem lift up His countenance upon you and grant you shalom. May the wind in your sails be filled with Hashem's righteousness. And may the evil urge plunge straight to Davy Jones' locker. If this voyage strengthened your soul, share it with another wanderer upon the sea. And tell the crew from which harbor you watch. Leave a comment below. Subscribe. Share. And I look forward to seeing you next voyage. And remember, the smoke and the fire still rises. Hag Sameach, Shabbat Shalom. May Hashem bless you and keep you.